And now it's time for another edition of What Would Jell-O Do? Sorry, it's been a while and I've been batting away like flies and mosquitoes in Alaska or something. All these people, do something about Donald Trump, do something about Donald Trump. What am I supposed to do about Donald Trump? Let him suck the air out of my habitat as well as everyone else's? I mean, okay, finally we do have our own Silvio Berlusconi, complete with bunga bunga. And I was thinking of doing one of these ages ago and offering $10,000 I don't have, maybe Kickstarter could raise it, to the first person who would go up and mess up his hair. But lawyer people told me, no, he's the kind of guy who might sue for sport and not care if he loses. You don't have $500,000 to fight him, and somebody might even get an assault charge for his pain and suffering and all. But keep in mind, we are still way deep in the silly season as far as American elections go. The Cirque du Soleil, the runaway clown car, where will it crash next? I mean, stop, chill. The election is almost a year away. Why not make up your mind who to vote for right before the actual election? Places like Canada, European Union countries, other places where they have a parliamentary system like we should have, call an election, 45, 60 days later you have the election and it's feverish and more people are interested and then it's all done. We have always had silly seasons, people. It's like, just remember that just like that Bush and W and Romney and maybe even Kerry or Dukakis, Jeb Bush has locked up all the money ahead of time. He's just sitting there waiting for people to beg on their knees for an adult in the room, and in he walks and stomps everybody. But what's getting lost here? Let's step back, take a deep breath of fresh air, and look at how they actually are spinning the math. Oh my God, the sky is falling. I gotta put my old man glasses on, the sky is falling. Oh, these polls, which only 1 in 10 people polled even respond to anymore, have Trump way ahead at 25%, which means, reverse it, 75% or at least 65% of Republican voters don't support Donald Trump. That level of negative rating, low popularity, basically his numbers actually suck. And the even more interesting part is the math they don't tell you. Guess who has been out-polling Trump numerically and otherwise all along but Bernie Sanders? More people support Bernie Sanders than support Donald Trump. And yes, people are getting shot dead by the police all over the country because the police state is run away with violence and people are finally questioning it, but they're shooting more people anyway. Secret police, way out of control, so intent on spying and collecting everything on everybody, they can't find the real terrorists who bombed the Boston Marathon or San Bernardino or whatever, because it's like looking for a needle in a football stadium. Maybe they could concentrate less on trying to entrap impressionable, not very bright young people and bust them for like thinking of buying a gun to go shoot somebody or go join ISIS or whatever, and spend more time going after the smart ones, not the stupid ones. And of course, the last thing you want to get anything on the news like that is when people actually win and cities do start raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, for example. Or finally, a lawsuit is settled and Governor Jerry Brown is ending long-term solitary confinement in California prisons because of an uprising. Both hunger strikes in the prison, which were barely covered at all, and a lawsuit, and this uprising worked. They're not half as scared of ISIS as they are of a much wider eruption of this sort of thing, meaning we have families living in tents as the Google buses roll by in San Francisco. Central Valley, California, shanty towns now. Again, people whose land is useless because the water is gone or they can't get work anymore. They're just living like they do on the outskirts of Sao Paulo in Brazil. And what do you know? The only person running in the primaries even talking about this is Bernie Sanders, tapping into that same hardcore disillusionment and fear that drives people into the arms of Rush Limbaugh and Donald Trump, but offering actual positive step-by-step solutions instead of, oh, you're mad, pick on somebody of lesser means than you, childish tantrums, insults, racism. Bernie's the only one who is actually coming out and saying, we have a problem in this country with poverty. Forget the shrinking middle class and saving the middle class. What about people who are horribly, unspeakably, hardcore third world level poor right in our own neighborhood? So what if Bernie Sanders doesn't win? What does victory mean here anyway? Victory isn't necessarily my candidate can beat up your candidate, yay! It's when real progress is made solving actual major problems. His ideas are subject to the ultimate act of fear through censorship. They won't even tell anybody it happened. They won't even tell anybody what happened to Bernie Sanders, only that Donald Trump is bashing Muslims or some other kind of brown people again. Black lives don't matter. Black lives matter. Brown lives don't. Go Donald. And that's all they do. Not even with Trump, not even with Sanders, they won't even say, oh my God, the sky is falling. He's a socialist. Because Bernie Sanders is too good at calmly and clearly laying out what he actually means by socialism and why a lot of it is actually a very good thing for all of us. Like everybody finally having universal health care, Medicare for all, that's socialism. Not socking people with student loans and saying, hey, you can go to school for free, just get educated. That's socialism. And the election industrial complex know they gain a lot more power and a lot more profits by trumpeting and sensationalizing a full-on racist, so-called crazy guy in order to move the goalposts and change people's whole illusion of what is crazy but not quite so crazy and therefore acceptable, and thus the middle ground, and before long, the new normal. Exhibit A, the way the N-word got transformed into welfare cheat so that racists could continue their dirty work and tap into the feelings of other racists and keep getting elected. Ronald Reagan kind of hit on it, and then David Duke, the Ku Klux Klan leader and neo-Nazi who almost became governor of Louisiana, he said welfare cheats instead of the N-word, and everybody knew what he meant. So then Senator Jesse Helms did it to barely beat out a strong black candidate, Charlotte, North Carolina Mayor Marvy Gantt. Then what do you know? Who's using welfare cheat but George Bush Sr.? Then what do you know? Who were using it together but Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich when Clinton finally signed Gingrich's cruel welfare bill that to this day has done so much to put entire families living in tents in cities like where I live, all to get rid of welfare as we know it. Welfare cheats. People of evil colors. You know, that neo-Nazi kid with the overgrown Justin Bieber bowlhead haircut who killed all those innocent people in the church in Charleston, South Carolina. I mean, instead of saying we got to get rid of these guns, it's we got to get rid of any display of the stars and bars version of Confederate flag, which I do see the point on that. But other people said, okay, this is fine, it's coming down, but wait, the problem is not the stars and bars, it's the whole mentality behind that. That is the problem. And Trump and a lot of the clown car are also reveling in being part of the problem. The only difference between that sick kid and Donald Trump, Tea Party, and all the Republican clown cars doing donuts can do way more damage when they leave their white hoods in the top drawer and their guns at home. Which corporate McNews turns right around, continues to flaunt and promote through Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, Jeb Bush, and his likely Vice President Scott Walker, and of course, Donald Trump. We have more choice than we think we do here. Trump isn't inevitable when 3/4 of even the idiot party oppose him. We can make our own decisions. Not just turn off the TV or switch over to Free Speech TV and Democracy Now! Or whatever, Al Jazeera, but don't fall for this mirage. Don't vote for it. And whatever you do, don't start believing this stuff and somehow it's inevitable and can't be fought in the first place.